welcome back to Linda's Pantry, and today I am doing an oven roasted marinara. Now, these are all tomatoes from my garden. I still have a bunch more over there, but we're having a salad tonight, so aren't they absolutely gorgeous? And truly am very thankful for all of this. And out of a pretty small little garden, you guys that are following me, you know how big my garden beds are. Anyway, okay. So I'm going to can up some oven roasted marinara. This can also be used, because of the combination of vegetables, this can also be used as a tomato soup base, and I do that quite often as well. But I use this in my lasagna, my spaghetti, anything that you need a marinara or a red sauce. It's already done for you. So I've got my fresh tomatoes that I'm going to oven roast. I'm also going to oven roast 2 bulbs of garlic. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 onions. These were kind of small onions. About 2½ cups of baby carrots and 1 zucchini. We're gonna douse this down with olive oil, salt and pepper, and roast it in a hot oven for about an hour. We're gonna start seeing some blistering and some char marks to it. The garlic's gonna squeeze right out. And we're gonna use fresh garlic in this sauce, as well as some herbs from the garden. And then at the very end, before I close the lid, it's going to get some basil put right in there. So it is absolutely wonderful. I can't wait to show you. And yeah, so come on in, let's quit wasting time. And don't forget to check all the links below. And if you like this kind of stuff, I hope you subscribe to my channel. And give me a thumbs up, maybe share it on your Facebook page. Okay, come on in. Okay, don't mind the hissing in the background because I am canning. It is a canning day today. Okay, so this cooks on the stove for a while too, so you just gotta get the olive oil, just drizzle it down, and we're gonna use all the olive oil that is in the pan, so don't worry if you don't get it right on the tomato perfectly, because it doesn't matter, it's still gonna flavor the sauce. And I start my marinara with olive oil anyway. This is going to have some red wine in it as well. Make sure you get plenty of olive oil down on, well, it would help if you could see onto the sheet pan with the garlic. You want the olive oil right on the garlic cloves, or bulbs. Some cracked black pepper. And this just holds the spices on there. And I like a fair amount, but we're going to layer this in the pan, because after this roast, it's going to cook down in a stock pot and get that slow all-day taste of Sunday gravy for the Italians that are out there. I think that's what they call it. So, yum. This is going to be wonderful. Okay. I think that's good. And like I said, we'll be doing cracked pepper again and salting to taste. This will help the caramelization and these become a little bit sweeter. So, okay. I'm going to go ahead and put this in a 400-degree oven, and these usually roast about an hour. Okay guys, so as you can see, the tomatoes have roasted. They've let go of a lot of juice, and I'm not going to waste any of that. I've got my other pan here. Everything's got a little char on it, which will give it a really good depth of flavor. So while this stuff is kind of cooling down, I want this garlic, these 2 bulbs of garlic to cool down. And I just have this, my spider. I'm going to go ahead and put it on in. And if you want to pull any skins off, now's the time to do it. Just set them aside. So I think that's what I'm going to do, is I'll make some room over there on that parchment for skins. And I don't mind the skin, honestly, but some people might, want that out of there. I really feel like the whole tomato is my favorite. I eat the skins in my salad, so why not in my marinara? So do what you will on that one. And I'll go ahead, and I don't want to lose out on any of that char pieces. Plus, we're going to be ooh, that's hot, baby. we're gonna be pureeing this with an immersion blender. So honest and truly, you're never gonna notice. Okay. Now, if you wanted it completely skin-free, you could use your Victorio strainer. Get that out, let these cool down before you do it. But you could do the Victorio strainer and put your tomatoes in through that, and the skins would come out one side and the seeds and everything. But like I said, I'm okay with it. I have found that it comes out just fine this way. In fact, it's delicious. So the olive oil, the way it roasts with the tomatoes, it's just amazing. So we'll get this in here. I am going to add 3 leeks to my mix and some red wine. I'm gonna do about 2 cups of red wine. This is a really nice, smooth red blend from up here in the Columbia Valley. That's going in. My leeks, I did 3 leeks out of the garden. I'm just loving it. Leeks are gonna lend another layer of flavor. It's different than the onion, even though it is slightly onion-like. I'm gonna take my mini chopper and chop up some garlic. Again, it's gonna be different than the sweet roasted garlic, so we'll get that in there. And that was about 6 cloves of garlic. And I'm gonna have 2 bulbs of garlic as well. In fact, when I do this, my grandson is like, I love how the garlic tastes. So anyway, we are on here. Let's see. Okay, now we're gonna get this, what's left in here. We wanna make sure we get all of this juice and everything. And we're gonna let this cook down. So it's gonna reduce, it's gonna get wazzed up with the immersion blender. Okay, so right now I'm gonna get the liquid down in and I'll be right back. Okay guys, so I have let this simmer down. It's reduced a little bit and I'm gonna go ahead. All the vegetables are super soft. Roasted, soft, delicious. So you're gonna take your immersion blender very carefully, turn the burner off, and take your immersion blender and go ahead and get it blended. Okay, so my sauce has cooked down for a couple of hours actually. I pureed it with the immersion blender and I've added a bundle of fresh basil. Just put it in there right now. Oh, it's so thick and rich. It smells amazing and I can use this in any application. So these jars have been washed and they're ready to go. You don't need to debubble, it's a liquid. But I want 1 inch of headspace, which for all canning processes, as far as I'm concerned, if it goes in a pressure canner, it needs 1 inch of headspace. I see a lot of people that are doing 1/2 inch and you're gonna have evacuation of your jars. So yeah, you don't want that. So I'm using a combination of wide mouth and regular mouth jars. And this one I feel like is a little bit too full. So I'm gonna transfer that. So excess. In the canner, this is gonna go to rest until the other jars are loaded. And my canner is about at 180, so it'll keep it nice and warm, but it won't be at the point where we need to start canning. So, yep, in there it goes. I'm hoping to get 7 quarts of sauce out of my garden. Mm-hmm. Okay guys, so I have 6 quarts is all that made, but that's a really nice amount of marinara sauce. So 6 quarts of marinara, 1 quart of water, and okay, I'm gonna put my lid on and turn this up a little bit and do my thumb screws apart from each other. Okay. And just get them finger tight and it will level the lid out if you do it like this. So anyway, so this is going to vent for 10 minutes out of the petcock or the pitcock. A steady stream of steam that gets all the water and everything in the canner the same temperature. And then I put the weight on, 10 pounds of pressure for my altitude, and I'm gonna can this for 35 minutes because of the onions. You know, it's not solid onions, but it's onions and a little bit of zucchini and all those other things, garlic and everything. So it's not just tomatoes, and it's got a lot of acid because of the wine, but I want to be safe, so it's 35 minutes for me, and yeah, we'll bring it out. Okay guys, so my marinara, I lost the last clip taking it out of the canner. I didn't have the camera on, or my SD card was too full, so because it just cut off in mid-sentence, so I think it was just too full. I've got 2 or 3 of them going at any given time, but I got 6 quarts. Okay, so I made 6 quarts of marinara, and I let them sit overnight. The next night when I got home from work, I went ahead and took the rings off and washed my jars, and I scrub around here really well. I don't want anything eroding at the plasticine that's, you know, the gasket or the metal, especially with a high acid food in here. I mean, basically tomatoes and wine, you're pretty high acid. So I washed them really good, and I set them off to dry, and I picked all of them up by the lid. So they were all good to go. Well, when I came back the next night to, you know, put the date and write what was in here, one of them was going pop, 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 pop. The button top was still going up and down. Now I could pull on it lightly and nothing happened, but I put just a little bit of pressure on it, that lid popped right off. Because it's vegetables, no meat in this, I went ahead and I just stuck it in the fridge. In fact, I had a cup of it today with some heavy cream and some diced up yellow squash out of my friend's garden. Oh my goodness, it was the most delicious bowl of soup. And so you can totally turn this marinara into a tomato soup or tomato bisque, if you will. You can add fresh tomato at the time that you want it. Now this doesn't have much salt to it, so you might want to add a little bit of either a chicken bouillon, beef bouillon, or just plain salt. I added a little bit of tomato bouillon that has some chicken. It's tomato and chicken bouillon, just to add a little bit of seasoning to it. Oh, but it was delicious. So I still have 5 quarts on the shelf, another big bowl of soup, and I want to answer a question while I'm here. Everybody asks, do you leave the rings on? No, I do not. Don't leave the rings on. They're only there to hold that flat in place during the processing time and the cool down time until it forms a vacuum. After that, it serves no purpose except for it could cause your jars to, you know, come undone and then create a false seal because of fluctuations in temperature. We've all opened brand new jars where they go pop and the lid explodes off. That's a false seal. I also want to address the fact that there wasn't that much tomato product in my canner, but hot. So when you put it in the jar, it's expanded. And then it expands even more in the canner. And so when you pull it out of the canner, you know, everybody's got that perfect headspace. But when it actually cools down, and I find this to be the case with tomatoes especially, I'm not sure why, but they tend to expand past the point, even if you leave an inch of headspace and then come back down, and you end up with a quart of sauce that looks about like that. Some are a little bit higher. This one, and why one jar will, you know, this one's right below my ring, why one jar will vent out sauce and another one won't, who knows. But let me just tell you, the sauce is delicious. And I also wanted to address, how long will I leave this on my shelf? I will leave this, now I've got these for easy access on my hutch. Anything extra that I can, and I'm already picking more tomatoes, will go in my extended pantry. in my storage boxes. And somebody asked me too, how do you store your canning jars, your empty ones? And I store them out in the storage boxes, and that way I know what I have. So guys, I'm going to tell you a little bit of a sneak preview. I'm going to be canning a Northwest fresh tuna right off the dock, and I want to take you along. So I got some information from some people that can tuna every single year. They said it is hands down unbelievably so much better than anything you could purchase. And I always buy albacore tuna, but I'm gonna go do that, and I'm gonna vlog the whole thing for you guys, and then I'll do a canning session with it. So I hope you come along for it and support me on that. And if you guys have any questions regarding canning, go ahead and leave them, and I'm gonna try to continue answering them as they come in. So guys, I can't wait to see you next time using my marinara or my home canned green beans in a homemade recipe that you just can't get any other way. All right, I'll see you next time. Don't forget, there's some links below. I've got a link to my All-American pressure canner, which is the Cadillac of canning equipment. It's a once-in-a-lifetime purchase. You will be able to pass it down to your kids. They can pass it down to their kids and their kids. As long as you never run that canner dry, you're good to go. All right, guys.